Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pamelona? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka. So I gave her some food. And then all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People that say cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And this is how you acquired a rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it? Yes, and I have read the rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science is that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was in there, he must have been sleeping. So at this point, you thought it'd be safe to try to lure the kitten back again? By dangling the toy through the ventilator into an adjoining cabin? Daka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly. Nothing. She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Kazuma wrote in his diary was Miss Formulona trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a possibility to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then, oof, I nearly passed out with the shock. I heard her cry out and then, oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Kazuma was. From appearance of the brown mark on the floor, seems likely that what you heard was the victim slipping on the glass bell and tripping up. This bird is a large vessel, but even she can picture and roll violently without warning. If Miss Soki was already off balance as a result of the ship launching when the kitten got under her feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. Seriously, I'm so mad. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Darka's nowhere to be yet. Darka is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case, and now she disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is insufferable. Relentless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at the least. When I woke up this morning, I heard that young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? The snake isn't your friend, Miss Pamela. Then whose is it? Where did it come from? He's petting it. He's so happy, dude. Who on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Oh, I'm not even gonna. But there's a Z, an H, and a K. There is no vowels in between those three letters. Poroziko? Huh? What? What? The snake belongs to you? He escaped from a cage when Mercy and Lam started, and I was looking for him. I did not expect him to find him here. Yes, How did I sneak into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. Ha! We are sea for 1 year. You want to be you want to be so long without a close friend with someone who understands? Oh, sure enough. Can you find someone a little more human who understands you? Let the man have his snake. A Grinch of venom snake? Surely you can't appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Huh? Perza does not have venom. He is harmless, very long, but very gentle. He's adorable, like Granny. Very long, very gentle, but he's adorable, like Granny. I love that. It's venomless? Yes. Now he's hungry, so he's in a bad mood. Once I feed him, you will see a big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say, milk chickens. Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only the stupid stories. Brazil eats mouses, big fat round mouses. Ah, oh, so is that what the mouse trap in the passageway out there is for? Of course. I also gotta catch my friend's favorite food. Favorite food? Gobble it away, Mr. Snaky Wakey. Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in the eyes, in their eyes right now. Boy, he is hungry. Shut up. He's got one full of power. And refuse a drink meal like this man's about to power up. He's about to Goku me. How did this do this? The land of Shinro. It's not my fault. Did not make up stories. So there's nothing to do with this incident. That's what happened. That's the dream behind my best friend, tragic death. She has a question to ask. Miss Pavlano, I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life, and if you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances are, I cannot forgive you. Oh shit, Susana's going in. But what are you talking about, Miss Maktoba? What lies? Miss Fomley just confessed everything. It was just a series of abortion and offense. An accident. Oh, Mr. Shalom's don't think so. I'm no great detective like Mr. Shalom. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Miss Norda? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pamela's story. I'm sure, but I just can't I can't quite put my finger on it. I confess, I was intending to let Scott McGarr deal with any outstanding issues on the matter. Oh? I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Miss Nardo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you're not finding your I do hope you not finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Ah! Not again. When did he do that? Especially if they're the ones the rest of the result of my ineffections. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we meet our next port calling. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes, Kazuma was my closest friend. I owe him my freedom even. In that case, we must follow this into the conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Miss Naruto. Naruto. Yes, whatever they may be. The key to this is the description in Miss Palmer's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. This music's new. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Feeling it. Too bad he's really kind to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Naruto. So then, shall we begin? Yes. What should we ponder first? Is the victim who lost light in the cabin that was bolted shut from the inside? Was that truly an unfortunate accident? Or was it in fact no accident at all? That we must establish first instance. But we already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten and had to climb into the cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but it's still an accident. Hold it! Hold it! Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense that it doesn't make sense if that really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contrast between the facts and this false story. Customer's cabin and zone arrival. A mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Ms. Naruto. Time to present the evidence. The death was no mere accident. What? Is it the painting? I have no idea, actually. I'm gonna save it here. Is it the paint? Is it the photo?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. There's no way that Mr. Orchidea left his missions on the floor. That script is Russian, isn't it? Indeed, it is. The word written means word. I see what you mean. Most people would rely that message in their native language, Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. No, he was studying law. It's a simple language. He could have picked up on it very fast. That doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry? What do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There was no way that Mr. could have left his message on the floor. And the reason why was clearly explained in here. Damage due to a cerebral vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Ah! Which means after the victim fell on the floor, he could not possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mrs. Sagi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there. If Miss Palmer told us the truth. What? So Susanoo has noticed it too then.
Yes.
It's the piece of the bell. This is a piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that glass was a can around his neck. We already know about it. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the can and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there is a very big flaw, a fatal flaw. What? That's really what happened. And how did one half ended up back here in the? And how did one half of the bell ended up back here in his cabin? Ah, yes. Remember that we found the other half of this glass bell in the waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavalata? Miss Pavalova? Pavalava? Pavalova? Oh no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That whether Miss Owens died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in this room. And that same person deliberately arranged this scene to disguise the truth. In order to cover up his or her own guilt. Say her, dude. Don't say his or her. Ah! Yes, there was something else present in Miss Oso's. Hold. Ooh. You're wasting time. Someone else is there? Duh, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from the inside. There was no way in and out. Oh, yes. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Oops. Oh, there we go. The other person in the room was because it was you. Yes. In theory, I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise, about the details. But I don't know Russian, there's no way to left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise, about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person wrote the word in wardrobe in the Russian on the floor. An attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I have been asleep the entire time. And then the same person picked up the broken glass of bell that's fallen to the floor. The fear of becoming evidence that would show how Miss Asogi really died. But why would the person taking all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, if it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours in the morning, the cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lens suspended from the ceiling would have been barely have cast any light on the floor there. Little wonder then the culprit failed to notice that fragment of a tiny island. You all suspected me, don't you? Damn, he has a grouchy holding. Seaman Stroganoff. Nina's a woman of the sea. She's the daughter of a strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join the ballet company. But before, she was a dancer on the ship, a member of the ship's band. You did not accuse the ship angel of being a criminal. Ah, so that's it. You say that when you... Blah, blah, blah. So she was part of the ship? Oh, so she's the daughter of one of the sailor men. Okay, so Nina was there. But it's not possible. I give my tooth. Well, it's almost interesting. And why would you give a tooth pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective. You should know. Looking the truth in the eyes, cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from the inside. Nobody can go into the cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or if you want to tell me the killer can walk through locked doors. Is it possible? He's right. But wait, I read about this in the detective stories. People often tie thread around the door latches, so we already talked about this. Barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find any modern steamship. A construction of heavy steel would not gap inside with no treads and needles or magnets could have been used. No, no, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruto Hunt said such an alien or something. Susano, how could you shift in on me like that? You liar. I did not see shit. So teammate Stroganoff has a valid point. Kevin could have been bolted from the outside. Not necessarily. What? I put it on you that I can find. I put it to you that I can bolt this cabin door. Without laying a finger on it. In this very cabin. We can see the traces of the method I have in mind haven't been used before. I don't believe it. Well, Miss Naruto? I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt door to cabin door from the outside? One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Jones means, Miss Naruto? It's just going at 100 miles per hour now. Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So would you care to do the honors, Miss Naruto? One of the tons of the method that we use to sign the would it be one of the tons of the methods used. Oh. Yes. Look at the bookcase there. See how the book things are on top of ore? That mustn't happen when the ship made its emergency stop. Yes, that's right. In a very powerful festival after all. When the engines are thrown in reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small object that ain't fastened down are bound to be falling. I believe, yes, that's what's known as the force of inertia. Acting on the objects. Is there nothing Susano doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over these books and bookcase also made something else's cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. And it's very obvious just after emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come to this cabin not long before we haven't bolted the door. But then... Hello, is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, it sounds like... Oh, yes. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. It's made of metal, but a small light enough to move by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inepta, what do you call it? Ah, are you trying to say that the last night, after Miss Sogi was killed, Bing. The SS Burra made another emergency stop? When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books and the shelves had been toppled over, and all the ornaments. It's almost as someone had been running across the shelves and deliberately not to bring. Yes, I remember that too. And I stood there up and on again, didn't I? As we came to this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing happen. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mrs. Selby's cabin. Oh my. Do you have anything to say about this, Mr. Pavlov? Are you out of your mind to say the Burra made an emergency stop? It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that be possible? How could that possibly have happened? Unless you say that someone, unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, It is simple enough. Hmm? Are you forgetting about the button the passenger way outside? Use to trigger the emergency alarm? Oh yes, of course. Never that notice, wasn't it? Telling you to only press a button in times of emergency? On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on eyes on the lookout alarm. Hence the placement of never buttons around the vessel allowing any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to safety, satisfy one curiosity. Oh, he's looking away now. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes in complete stop. As the details a little earlier today. It was him. Just putting everyone in danger. Oh my god. He's just got lucky then with the reasoning. That's really not safe for you, Mr. Holmes. Schlums. Surely it wasn't you who. As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life: to be pressed whenever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with the ship? I love it now that we know it's a snake. It's a snake that's been around his face. The markings of the face are even worse. I report you to the captain. You are in much trouble now. Now. I'm sure they walk away until later. Let's not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. Whenever the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin door slide closed. So, we must now consider. Yes, and all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Azagi, so did this ship make an emergency stop or did it not? You are idiots. Burrow has a huge ship and meeting passengers. If we make an emergency stop, even in the middle of the night, there will be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Norda? Well, it's only possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Ms. Norda? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff. It is your duty to provide the patrol the first class area of the ship, isn't that right? Nah, that's correct. Why? In the ship logs here, they will be where you reported the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine! Ah, you rather careless left it atop a little makeshift burrow in the passenger out there. But responsible passengers, we took it into our own care and might have returned to you later. But to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That's where I always put it. That's where I put it always. Yeah. The point is, looking at where you usually record, it's clear that under no circumstances you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until the first light this morning, was nothing nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log? This is nah, because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Go. Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Burra. That something significantly something that is something sufficiently fuck it, I can't even, I give up, to make you forget to fill in the ship's log in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really didn't make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish! Hazanaga's like, oh shit. If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something major than an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we want to know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine anyone would sleep through that, even if it happened in dead of night. Well, no, that's that's the, that's a good point. What the throbbing? Sorry? What do you mean? Your head, I mean. Your head, man. The throbbing in your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it. Ha! Oh, yes. I have a headache. You're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. No, nor I have. My head's been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you all been affected, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right. My head's been throbbing today, too. And since eating dinner yesterday, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside that water. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was a throbbing pain in my head. I've already been dragged out of the wardrobe. And those handcuffs put on me by this point. Why did I wake up with Why didn't I wake up with all this happening? Tell me, Mr. Narda. You boarded the festival's doorway, didn't you? Oh, yes, sorry. So the story class accommodation doesn't really include meals. What did you survive on? Well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes! In fact, I had all of it. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Really? Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right. He didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that now strike you? Oh! Mr. Holmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No, really? Is it really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night has been tampered with? Tampered with by the addition of sporovic designed to induce a very deep slumber for those who consumed it. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this lazy every meal with a sleeping drug? So that no one knows the ship's emergency stop? That's a lot of people. Miss Nardo, there's no way. And of course that's not what Mr. Jones means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal, every passenger. No, with a board with a sport of a drug is certainly impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Holmes. Well, Seaman? I'm sorry to say that any more description in this matter will get you nowhere. Oh, he's so sad now. His and his unibrow? Or no eyebrow? I can't tell what the hell you... If you refuse to talk, then there will be inquiries made to the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be halted over the coals. For aiding in... for aiding and abetting a renegade. Oh, the whole crew knows her. Oh, look at him. He's adorably guilty. Is that a word? Adorably guilty? Please, no more. I will tell everything. I cannot make promises like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help. Everyone together. She threw everything. She threw away everything. Her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drugs in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I didn't know it was chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. Da. We could not make it all. We cannot make all the drug. How do you say dissolve? Ugh. Talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight in the waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel aboard. She was helped by a comrade on shore of a small fishing boat. Meanwhile, the passenger danced his burro sleep soundly. Thanks to the almost magic effects of the slumber-inducing potion, their evening meals are contained. So is that what happened? The only people awake on the ship last night were the crew and people who dislike chicken, and the new lure bore passenger Miss Pamplona, Havalava, Lova, Havalova, Havalova, Hava, That means it would be impossible for you. You could have used an emergency stop trick to lock the Cosmos cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case. There would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meals of chicken in their cabins. Otherwise, they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of their sleeping drug. Quite, and accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes! The overwhelming majority of passengers would have been hibernating sleep in their cabin doors bolted anyway. So now one of them would have thought it found it remarkable to find a door locked. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of the single cabin door in the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. Da. You have talked long. You have talked a long time and said many things. What is the point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present at the scene where the victim lost his life. Someone who left a message in Russia on the floor and attempted to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass and reveal the culprit's identity. And somebody who abused a ship emergency stop, produced an order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But, I don't know any of this. I'm just a little girl. You like to speak with your long English words, and you explain your clever ideas. But I am a sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Fair enough. Sailors like me, we only trust what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Miss Nardo. Oh, yes. Do you hear the accusatory cry of the guilt of guilt on the wind? What's accusatory cry of the guilt? Sorry, you lost me. Proof and involvement, man, but you can't hear such calls with your ears. No, you must hear with your eyes. For observation, observation, observation is the base of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe this time has come for one final logic and reason to attack me. To expose the truth. God damn, we got one more of this?